Hi everybody. A few of you have asked questions about how you can create student games and polls for engagement, and your questions were based on our Module 7 assignments. So the first thing I wanted to draw your attention to is the Advanced Organizer, because the Advanced Organizer, if you complete it first, has a lot of great resources. So in addition to learning about and talking about Google Sheets and how you can use that in instruction, and keep in mind that Google Sheets is Google's version of Excel. You're also going to do some exploration in games. And so you'll note that the title here is Using Games for Instruction. There's a lot of research that's growing in this field of the importance of using games for student engagement and learning. So I've shared some articles from ASCD and from Education World, and there's some additional information in Common Sense Education, TEDx, and Edutopia. So you can check out any of those resources. And then as you've learned about using games, I want you to think about using a game like Jeopardy. There's a link that talks to you about using Jeopardy games and then how you could use those personally in your teaching, whether you're teaching in a pre-K class, class for students with disabilities, a Gen Ed 5th grade classroom, an AP Physics classroom. How could you use a game like Jeopardy? You'll share that. I've got some links and some information about using flashcards and other games. You'll remember that early on in the course, you signed up for a Study Blue and a Quizlet account. So if you haven't used those yourself or don't quite remember the details of those two sites, go there and learn how Study Blue and Quizlet could be used for instruction. There's also all kinds of resources for making our own games. So you'll remember from our first learning modules, we talked about trying to be as tech rich in our classrooms as possible. So teachers are using tech to teach, and students are engaging and using tech in their learning and also with assessment. But we talked about sometimes tech doesn't work, whether the internet is down, there's something wrong with the smartboard in your classroom, the student devices aren't connecting that day. We always need to have a backup plan. And so one of the backup plans would be to use technology to create some good old-fashioned paper and pencil games. You can also create games that are teacher-led as opposed to students using those games in cooperative learning centers. So I've given you at least 5 links, and I'll probably add another 1 or 2. I'm asking you to look at least 4 of the sites that are listed here. And if some of these links aren't working, which sometimes they do disappear, then I want you to go ahead and do a Google search. You can search for things like free game templates, Word, free game templates, PowerPoint, creating your own templates, creating your own games, any of those searches. The search customizable games also gave me some good resources. So do a Google search, and I want you to look at least 4 different sites that have some game templates. So for example, one of the sites you can look at is this Internet for Classrooms. They have lots of good resources, and they have a whole section on PowerPoint game templates. So if you wanted to use PowerPoint or Google's version, Google Slides, to make a game, you could do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you can do Jeopardy, lots and lots of game templates. Baseball, Battleship, you name it, there's a template for it. Remember, if I've downloaded it in PowerPoint and I want to put it into my Google Drive, I can just drag and drop it into my Google Drive, and then you're going to open it with Google Slides to make it a Google slideshow that you can edit. So I am happy to demonstrate for you how I would create a game board. And so I went to, not Poll Everywhere, I went to uncw.edu/edgames. It's one of the links that's in your Advanced Organizer. And I clicked on this download blank board template 1. And we'll let that open. And so I get this really cool game board that downloads. It's clearly blank and has some room. So they have all these boxes that they've used to build their template. And so in order to change those, I have a Mac. So I am going to click on my control button and it will let me edit text. So then I'm going to change this and I'm going to make this CH words building and reading fun. All right. And that's going to be my template. So this will be great for preschool students, for kindergarten, first grade, for students with disabilities or students in RTI that need some remediation support. So I'm going to go down here to the Start button. Notice that the directions or the rules say that I've got to roll a number cube and pick up a card. If you answer the card correctly, then you can move the number of spaces on the dice. So that means that I would be making separate cards. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm going to change the directions here in the board. So I'm going to click Edit Text, and I'm going to be roll the number cube and go to that spot on the board. If you answer the question correctly, then you can move the number of spaces on the dice. All right, perfect. I'm going to make my directions a little bit longer. Play until someone finishes. Okay, my rules are okay now. So now I'm going to go down to each box, and each box you just click on the box and again get your control button so you can edit the text. And I'm going to make directions up. So add cha to the front of this word and read it. And then the word I'm going to do is blank blank ip. So the kids will read cha, ip, chip. So if they get that correct, then they can go to the next one. So I'm going to keep making my way through the board to add text. And every time I'm going to add text, read this word. Chew. So everybody gets the idea, right? Add CH to the word and read. Chill. All right, so as you continue to fill in all the spaces, then I'm going to go up and I'm going to save my board. So this is the CH Words game board. And you can save it any number of places. I'm going to leave mine in my downloads for now. Save. And then that's what I would upload after I finish my game. You can also go ahead and add clip art into this to make it more interesting. That's always better. And you know how to do that through Google Images. So that walks you through how to make a game board. I'm going to pause this video and then I'll do a second video on how to create polls.